Hello there, viewers and listeners. Good morning and welcome onto the network of Impact Africa Television, IATV, and Impact Business Radio, IBL 92.5 FM, your station of choice. My name is Adefemi Makwadero. Welcome you to this week's edition of our program, Insight. On Insight, we try to answer a number of questions concerning Nigeria, the Nigeria project. We try to answer the following questions. How did we get here? How do we leave this place? And in so doing, what are the steps that we can take that will take us out of here? And also, when we do leave this place, how do we know we have arrived at our destination? Those are the questions we try to answer on Insight. It's been quite some time. We've tried to identify the fact that Nigeria as a country was laid on a wrong foundation, on a faulty foundation. And we've tried to define what the faulty foundation is and how we can ensure that we get the foundation right. So on the program today, we want to look at Nigeria 1960 to 1966, 1960 to 1965, 66, and we say Nigeria in retrospect. What were the things that happened during that period for the education of all of us back home, for the education of our children, and even for the education of the older generation who may have perhaps forgotten one or two things about these. My colleague on the program, Anoluwapo Omoride, you're most welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, Femi. So we'll be looking at Nigeria 1960 to 1966 today. You can break that into two. Between 1963 to 1966, Nigeria had the first republic that itself had its features. Between 1960 and 1963, that itself had its own features. But we want to look at it before the military internal in January 1966, precisely January the 15th. What was Nigeria like? There is no way we can forge ahead if we do not understand, have a grasp of what this nation was. The best of this country cannot always be in the past. And so when people are calling and clamoring that we return by all means to the past, something must be wrong. Just as Femi said, it's been established that Nigeria was established on a faulty foundation. But what can we do as faulty as it was? Are there things to learn? That we will be looking at on the program. And apologies, last week we promised to delve into something, but of course we're going to reserve that, right? So that let's this program gather the necessary steam, so that by the time we are talking about, the solution, then we'll be bringing the National Rebirth Commission to you. It will be broken down and all that. So, Femi, that's what we are up to for today.
Thank you so much, Anoluwapo Omoride. We're still expecting our guest. When our guest analyst comes in, you will get to know as we throw questions at him and he tries to provide solutions. After many constitutional conferences, both in Nigeria and London, and after many years of negotiation and talk shops, Nigeria finally attained independence from the British government on the 1st of October 1960. It was a night to remember when the British flag, the Union Jack, was lowered and the white-green flag of the emerging nation was hoisted. Thereafter, the national anthem of the new nation, which replaced God Save the Queen, was sung lustily and heartily. It was indeed a night to remember. Now let's listen to that anthem. Nigeria, we hail thee.
To the Nigerian national anthem, Mr. Albert Congo raises the flag of the new nation.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland. Our flag shall be we count as gain. To hang on to our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty Nigeria may be blessed.
Welcome back. That was that lofty dream at independence in 1960, the independence of our dear native land, where even though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Where even things may be going wrong, we shall continue to remain standing as one nation. But right from that day, it was apparent that the independence meant different things to different tribes that made up Nigeria. For example, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, one of the protagonists of the struggle for independence, was hardly recognized at the event. He was, with his wife, given a seat in an inconsequential part of the crowd. He was simply humiliated. And so right from the onset of the new nation, it appeared that one tribe was set to dominate the others, and hence the foundation for mutual distrust and acrimony was laid. Within this period, things were moving at a breathtaking speed in the western region, where Chief Samuel Ladoke Akintola was the premier of the region. The party in power in the region was the Action Group, whose leader was Chief Obafemi Awolowo, while Chief Ladoke Akintola was the deputy leader. The crisis in the region got to a head where at a time there were two premiers in the region, Chief S.L. Akintola and Alhaji Dauda Shoroye Adegbero. In the melee that occurred in the House of Assembly, a faction passed a vote of no confidence on Akintola, and all hell was let loose. The police moved in, the police invaded the house and fired tear gas on the parliamentarians, and most of them had to squeeze themselves out of the house through the partitions of the House of Assembly. But prior to this time, the federal government led by Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, who was the prime minister, had tried to whittle down the powers and influence of Chief Obafemi Awolowo in the western region, as it went to create the Midwest region out of the western region. Within that same period, Chief Obafemi Awolowo and a number of his allies were charged with treasonable felony and were jailed, and Obafemi Awolowo was jailed for 10 years in 1963. Shortly after this, an election was conducted in the western region, and it was said that the election was massively rigged by the new party of Ladoke Akintola, the NNDP. And the resultant effect of this was the Operation Wete in the region, an operation which led to the death of many opposition politicians. This eventually led to a breakdown of law and order in the country, leading to the first military coup in Nigeria. And here we are today on Insight, trying to decipher what actually went wrong and what could we have done to arrest the catastrophe that befell the nation then. That's just a summary of Nigeria in retrospect. A number of things have not been said so that we don't waste too much time. But that was Nigeria 1960 to 1966. The period from independence on October 1, 1960 to January 15, 1966. What went wrong? Where did we miss it? What could we have done right that it didn't do? And what should we have done that we failed to do? Now, let's begin. Anuoluwapo.
Okay, so for the benefit of those who didn't see that national anthem, the old one being rendered, Femi, I saw even in the whites, perhaps rehearsals were held before that rendition. You see the look on the faces of those that gathered. You see this look of hope, excitement. Okay, amidst all odds, this country is taking off. Expectations were so high. And that's, you will see, even when the flag was being mounted, you see the whites around smiling, trying to portray the hope that they actually, had in the country called Nigeria at that time. But unfortunately, just as you have said, the issue of mutual distrust crept in. But one thing we must look at, and that's where we're going to kickstart the conversation, and that point has to do with the seat given to late Obafemi Awolowo on Independence Day. Mr. Aboglogo, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us on Insight
Thank you.
Today. Okay, so let's revisit it. What warranted a man that fought, for the liberation of his people, though they didn't believe in the fact that Nigeria should be led, should gain independence in 1960? What warranted the kind of treatment he was given on October 1, 1960?
Thank you very much. I think it's all politics. A politician will do anything that he has a legal right to do to his opponent. Awolowo was an opponent. He is leader of opposition. They have just won the power, the NCNC and Northern People's Congress. NPC, yeah, Northern People's Congress. So they are the victorious group, and they want to downplay what the other person has done. Because Nigeria, by that time, there wasn't any structure for such a thing. A politician will want to get away with whatever he is legally able to get away with. So they want to sort of mess Awolowo up, kill his morale. They know he was going to give them a good fight in the Senate and in their government.
So what we see today is not different from what happened at that time?
It is not. Let me give you an analogy. It was President Clinton. He was interested in a candidate for the Supreme Court something, and the legislators did not approve. Then at a private conversation with the Senate president, he said, "Why did you not approve the
nomination,
the candidate? And the man was eminently qualified." He said, "Because I have the right to reject, and I am free. I know the man was good, but I know if I did not approve, it will affect you, and you are an opponent." That's just it. Some of the politicians are the same all over the world, but some places you cannot do anything and get away with it.
Okay, so the question is, at that time, will you call the likes of Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, even Awolowo himself, will you call them politicians? Where did they learn, that type of politics? We're talking of 1960, 1961, 1962. Today, the hangover is still very much with us. Where did they learn it from?
It is. Let us look at the background from which Ahmadu Bello and Tafawa Balewa are coming from. They are feudalists. They had control of the north. They have their focus on Nigeria. So anything that will impede their progress, they would like to take it away, take it off.
And Awolowo was
people like Awolowo and Zik, they were pretending as nationalists. Even Africanism was burning in them. They want to go outside Nigeria and, even if it is possible, unite African countries. But these people are not, Ahmadu Bello did not want to leave his north. He want to keep the north secured.
Yes.
at all cost, and from there go forward to acquire Nigeria. So from that background, it is now that some of us are learning to recognize the pitfalls on the paths then. But some people, they have their focus on the ball right from the onset, that from 1914. But we delude ourselves. We want to be liberal, one Nigeria, Pan-Africanism, but they are not interested in
Okay,
such.
Mr. Abogunloku,
Oh, yeah.
I want us to listen to that old national anthem again. The old national anthem contains messages.
Okay.
Where did we miss it? So can we have the old national anthem again, please?
To the Nigerian national anthem, Mr. Albert Congo raises the flag of the new nation.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hang on to our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
How to bring back that old anthem for you to take a listen to it again. And in doing that, you see that the wordings, the lyrics say, our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign, and that we want to hand over unto our children a banner without stain, and help us to build a nation where no one is oppressed. Mr. Abogunloku, can you speak to these?
Part of the wedding says our own
Their native land.
Their native land. Nigerians all are proud to serve our fatherland. Is Nigeria truly, do we truly agree that Nigeria is really our fatherland? Those who wrote the wordings of the national anthem then, they were nationalists. The person who composed it and those who approved, they were nationalists of sort, and they were hopeful for a great nation where everybody we have his rights secured. But those, the architects, those who are in control, those who are in control of Nigerian fortune, did they see the way this national anthem put it? That has always been our problem. Some people will say Nigerians' unity is non-negotiable. That Nigeria should be one. But how do you correlate the way, for example, the way Papa Awolowo was treated, just a little, some minutes into independence? So some people have their own agenda. That's the truth. When we get there, maybe we will treat it. Now that we find ourselves in all this, that time we didn't have the benefit of hindsight. Everybody was hopeful. Like I said, they are nationalists, they are Pan-Africanists. This is a country of ours. We are in control now. We are going to make it work. We are going to do this and that. But some people are not interested in that.
But
they are
when you-
interested in the power and to use it to their own advantage to get their own goal.
When you look at the third line and the fourth line of the first stanza, there is an admittance of difference in tribe and tongue.
Though tribe and tongue will differ,
but
in brotherhood
we stand. So is it a case of the founders of this country having an understanding of the fact that, okay, we are different, but brotherhood, should be the cord that will bind us together?
It is because they know we have different tongues and tribes. That they choose federalism. And they were trying to weld all these pieces together. That's certain. But then, where did we get it wrong? Like you said, it is when there is something to be shared, and some people are taking the larger share of it unjustly. You want to ask them why. Why do you have to take this portion? It is then you begin to question this brotherhood we are talking about. Because the politics, the formation of the parties were based on tribal something, except NCNC, which pride itself as a national party then. NPC was a tribal party. AG was a tribal party. They were doing it to help their people to advance the cause of their people. Don't forget that during that time, there was a program. They said nationalization of the process. When the Southerners were trying about nationalization, that is those posts that the Europeans were occupying,
yes,
indigenous people should be occupying it. The North was interested in modernization, and they said we don't have people to occupy all these things, and we cannot take people from the South.
So we rather
still need these expatriates. It got to a point when they could not even justify hiring expatriates. They had to be hiring Southerners on contract. So that is where you begin to think, are we really one?
Could it be concession of superiority is another problem here? Okay, so when you talk of brotherhood,
okay,
and you have a cord binding you together, right?
And what will be that cord? Is it the country or what's it?
Well, I think we're still in search of the cord binding us together now. But the issue is this: could it be that the northern part of the country, for instance, sees itself as the eldest, and the south, coming after it, and the south, seems not to be conceding that superiority to the north, whereas the north sees itself as the superior? Could that be one of the reasons? Because these things are still playing out even as we speak.
The problem is when you say the north, which north are you talking about?
Monolithic north.
Because the north itself, we have Benue, Plateau, people from Niger State and all of that tribe. So many tribes in the north. But the core north, the north that is in control and wants to be in control all the time, they are the Fulani.
The Fulanis.
Who conquered the north in 1804.
1804.
They are the one that is in control, and they always want to be in control. They call themselves born to rule. It was when people shouted that, how can you be so blatant in your show
Arrogance
of arrogance, that they had to remove that born to rule from the sticker of their
plate
number plate. So this is the situation. The Fulani, they always have their eyes on the ball. Even up till now, some of us will not realize it. They know how to play their politics. They don't forget things easily. But we will forget ourselves and say, one Nigeria. Let us, when we get there, we will
know how to cross the bridge.
The situation. In 1979, when they were to join, they want to start politics in 1999. This, I think the Second Republic, or is it the Third Republic?
The Third Republic.
The Third Republic. Some people were saying, if Yoruba people want to participate, let us see the constitution. But our leaders then were saying, when we get there, when we get to the river, we will cross it. But up till now, we are not able to cross it because the constitution was put together in a way that put us at a disadvantaged position.
Okay, so we've been talking about these challenges for some time.
Yeah.
Let me paint a picture for you. Before the 2023 general election, the hangover of the 1960 to 1966, the type of politics that we played. So it was argued that power should return to the South. We also saw what played out. Now power is in the South. There are some persons who witnessed the politics of this time who are today saying the North, enough, mind yourself, because a southern person is occupying the exalted position of the president, you want to foment trouble. This narrative that is coming from you, this is the 21st century. We are still having that type of a narrative. People saying, oh, all the protests we're seeing in the North is because of the fact that a southerner
is president.
Right? Easy. Let me also bring another one. Even among the Fulanese, as you have said, some persons are saying Lamido Sanusi is supporting Tinubu's policies because of the plan to have him reinstated, whereas Emir of Kano, the incumbent one, is opposing it. And of course, you've seen both of them. How do we close all these gaps? Every day these things keep playing out, and we seem not to have solution.
Well, I want us to go back a little to 1962.
All right.
By 1960, Awolowo left Western region to go to the Central to contest, while Ahmadu Bello retained his Northern something. Barely after some few months, problems started in the West because the Yoruba could not get their acts right, which is still playing out today. Akintola wanted an alliance with the North.
With the North.
Awolowo said no.
No.
Awolowo is interested in poaching the minorities in the North. They are forming the progressive. The North is not happy about that. You have the Takas of this world, the Olawonyins and so on and so forth. The North does not like that, did not like that. But just like Tinubu befriended the North in
search of power.
Akintola thought, let us be friendly with these people. Maybe one way or the other we can work things out. But those who are conversant with what happened, what played out in this last election will know that it wasn't as if the power was handed over to Tinubu on a platter of gold. He outsmarted them. Which means if the West...
No, after 8 years...
Are you not conversant with what happened about the cashless something?
Policy.
That they have to withdraw cash from the something so that some people
they can strangle him.
They will not have money to use for their campaign. And I think fuel was scarce then too. And if a government is in power and you are making things, it's like as it is now that APC is in power. Let APC want to sponsor somebody by this time. Will the people allow such? If the government in power was making life difficult for the people, and you have a candidate, it is obvious that you are trying to demarket your candidate. But the man has smarted them.
Okay,
so
let's look at it this way, sir. Sometime between 1962 and 1964 in the Western region, we had this crisis. The crisis in which there were two premiers.
Oh yes.
We had Akintola, we had Adegbenro then, and everything now snowballed into one crisis or the other.
Oh yes.
Leading to a state of emergency. It was during this period that Awolowo was jailed. 1963. It was also during this period that the Western region, Midwestern region was created. Was this not targeted at the personality?
Exactly. It was targeted at Awolowo because they knew the man was going places. If they should allow him a free rein, he's going to become a hero. He's going to become too large for them to contain. They started with Coca Commission. You know, there is this song by Bob Marley that says, only your friend knows your secret. Only your friend knows your secret. So only him can reveal it. He who they can fit, let them wear it. Akintola and Awolowo were in power during the time of review. But at the end of Coca Commission, they said Awolowo behaved in on premier-like manner, and this does not affect Akintola, who was his deputy. That's one. Then the problem at the Western House, because of some anti-party activities which the AG accused Akintola of, he was suspended, and they took it to the House. You know, the other time we were talking of parliamentary system of government. Parliamentary system of government is easy. If you want to change a leader, it doesn't
just go to the it doesn't take time, just
vote of no confidence. So they wrote some of the
parliamentarians,
House members sign a document to the governor, who has the right to remove the premier. Majority of them, they fulfill the number needed, and the governor removed him, which to all intent and purposes was the right thing to do, because those who are your people said they didn't want you. But when they got to the House, the Akintola said, no, the removal has to start from the House. When they got to the House to vote again, the Akintola supporters disrupted. They started throwing chairs, so they could not do it. Because of that, the federal, who has the right, like I told you the other time, if your opponent in politics, if your opponent has the right to do certain things, no matter how unfair, he will do it. The opposing party who controls the central says there is problem in the southwest, and whereas the problem is in the House, of Assembly, it's not throughout the region. They had to declare state of emergency. And you know, when the governor removed Akintola, he replaced him with the party voted Adegbenro. So we had Akintola refused to vacate his seat. Adegbenro was controlling from his house. We had two premiers, and
there was crisis.
There was crisis.
As the region recovered from that incident.
Well, it depends, because if you want to take sides, those who are knowledgeable enough about what happens then will know that from benefit of hindsight, deputies and governors do fight.
They do fight.
It is the trend. That is the situation with politicians. It happened in Edo State. It happened in
Ondo State.
And that what is playing out between Fubara and Wike. It happened in Ondo State. That is the tradition. So if you are saying you belong to Akintola, you belong to Awolowo, it means you don't know what you are doing. But the problem with Yoruba is that we are too forgetful. During that time, if you study what happened that time very clearly, Adegbenro went to Supreme Court. Supreme Court said he doesn't have a case. They took the court to Privy Council, in London, and they won. Privy Council said the man should be restored. Then Western House under Akintola passed a law, a bill, backdating that it's only when the House approves that you can remove a governor, and you can remove a premier. And the federal something passed that law again, nullifying what the Privy Council by 1963, we were no longer under Privy Council. We have our own Supreme Court, and we have our own republic. So all those things are politics. They are politics, but I think what we down south should do is put our eyes on the ball. Let us be careful. Let us
the West loses focus.
Yeah, we are always losing focus. We want to be the liberal type. We are always saying one Nigeria. Let us. We should be national. We should do that. But some people are on. They want their north and not alone.
And not alone.
Not alone. We said it maybe during the Yoruba program that who is a true Nigerian? Abraham Adesanya said he was an Ijebu man first.
First and foremost.
Then Yoruba man. Before he's a Nigerian. That is always the situation. But Yoruba, we want to pretend. We want to say we are liberal. We want to put Nigeria first. Let us, we know we have, like we are saying, different tongues, different tribes. We know we are different tongues, different tribes. Let us control on the basis of that. I want to represent my tribe, represent your tribe or ethnic group, and let us discuss what is good for us. It's simple.
I think we need to open the phone lines at this time.
So let us open our studio lines. The numbers to call 0916-104-7698, 0916-104-7698, 0902-280-9257, 0902-280-9257, and 0811-052-6487. 0811-052-6487. Nigeria in retrospect, 1960 to 1966.
All right. So you can call any of the numbers that has actually been read out. 3 numbers were given out. Call any of the numbers to be part of the program. Okay, so let us start with these. Hello, good morning. You're welcome, Olusegun Tawole.
Good morning.
Thank you.
I want to say we thank Mr. Bogulogo this morning. The man have exposed many things on the road this morning. Though we have been saying this several times, but as we used to say, right from the inception of the grace of this country, the rest of the world we call this city. Yeah. You asked Mr. Anulapo asked Nakogo a question, but the doctor answered that question. He said, where was the school of thought of Abawolowo, Big, and Tafa Balewa at the beginning? And they answered that question. British is their school of thought by that time. Know these people, they are interested more in the northern part of the country than the southern part of the country. That's why we are saying that the system is strong at the inception.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Olusegun Tawole, for your time. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Oh, okay. You want to call us back on the program this morning. Let's check who is here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Clearly, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I'm Tayo calling from Buridala.
All right.
I think what we should do, I think one of the reasons why the First Republic was successful regarding what you call it governance was because we had a complete federal structure then. And regarding we Yorubas putting our eyes on the ball this time around, what we should emphasize is restructuring. That we have a true federal system of government in Nigeria. A station whereby issues like women affairs, youth development, social development, water resources, agriculture, sports are in the residual list for the state alone to handle. Also, a station where in the First Republic, in the exclusive legislative list, we had about 11 items there. I think in fact there was a lot of items in the concurrent legislative list than in the exclusive legislative list in the First Republic. So we have to emphasize true federalism this time around.
And on the issue of Akintola, the crisis between on the issue of the vote of no confidence, that was not a vote of no confidence anyway. The removal of Akintola as the premier of Western Region. Parliamentary system of government is a very complex system of government. And at that time, we were operating a cabinet system of government. And I read that Akintola had been expelled from the party at a congress of the party that was held in Jos. And this is one of the reasons why he's no longer the premier. The reason being that, having been expelled from the party, he became the premier of the Western Region because his party won majority of seats in parliament. And since he has been expelled from the party, he can't belong to another party.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Tayo, for your time on the program. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Thank you.
This is Fred on the line.
Mr. Fred, welcome.
All is happening in this country is that it's unfortunate that we don't have a leader from the beginning, even up to now. All we have, as I earlier said, is that we have rulers in court who are so self-centered, self-serving,
Rulers.
what to say. Even from the beginning, it was so. We're thinking that the various army revolution that took place, we put this country in proper perspective. Because this country, what brings us together is more than what divides us. If you travel across this country, you will know who the Nigerians are. Unfortunately, some of these rulers, they don't tell the commoners the truth. And this is the bane of the problem. I stayed in the north for a long period before coming to the south. With a special apology. So if Atlantic Ocean were to be in the north, they would have long asked us to stop coming. That I know. Sir, if there is no mineral, as I said, there is no vegetation that does not exist, there is no climate that does not exist in this country. The day we have a good leader, Nigeria will assign a good sign of relief.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. Leadership problem. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you.
This is Ogunka from Moledo.
You're welcome, Mr. Ogunka.
Yes, our problem is foundational. And the problem has been created by the white who gave us the independence. They tried in their efforts in order to load a particular section of the country upon the other. However, whatever the case may be, I think we are supposed to have learned our lesson. Politics of animosity, I think we are supposed to have devoid of it. And our problem will continue this way. If we don't forget about the past and channel the right way for ourselves as a nation. So the problem is foundational, and we have to borrow a leaf in order to be able to lead forward. May God bless Nigeria.
Amen to the prayers. Thank you so much for your time on the program this morning. Okay, so some persons have raised issues about leadership in Nigeria. Hello, good morning. Okay, kindly call back. The numbers are 0916 104 7698, 0811 052 6487, 0902 280 9257. We're looking at Nigeria in retrospect 1960 to 1963. We really need 66. We really need to understand what the problems are. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
I am Primate Itu calling from Ijebu in Ogun State.
Welcome, Primate.
Though it is raining,
And please, you try to manage me because I'm not receiving you directly. But I started with you before the rain took me off. I think I want to appreciate the picture that has been painted by Honorable Femi Makpadiru. And I want to appreciate the guests we are having today. But I think we need to really draw back a bit to reasons why there are problems in our political setting from that time of Awolowo and why it was treated like that before the independence. Now, Enahoro was the one that first suggested independence. And you will notice that immediately he suggested it, the North, they walk out of the parliament. What was their reason? They don't want the independence to come because of history. My great-grandfather, who was a cabinet member, and my father, a cabinet member of Awolowo's party, said something before me when I was just 17 years old. They told me that, look, the Yorubas, when we were coming, where did we come from to settle at Ile-Ife? When we arrived at Ile-Ife, we tell those people we come from that we are now ourselves. They should forget us. The Igbos, where are they coming from? Before they arrived at Imo or arrived at Owerri, they tell those people to go and sit down. But the Fulani, they are connected from even Cameroon to Mali to Niger to even Saudi Arabia. That connectivity threatened the colonial masters. And they remember the power of Usman Danfodio or what he was able to do. They now look at it that if we give the power to the Yorubas, people will come and take it from them. If we give it to the Igbos, because where they came from, they have abandoned it. But these ones are not abandoning themselves. They are still connected through that Usman Danfodio. They now created amalgamation and gave them that power. And they saw themselves as the owner since then. So it is now left for us to deal with the issue of amalgamation so that we can now go to do the needful by revisiting the issue of who owns Nigeria. Good morning.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister. I'm afraid that's all we will be able to take on this segment. Mr. Bogunloko, you've heard the concerns of the people. What will your reaction be?
Well, some people are saying it is because we don't have, we lack good leadership. I want to ask, leader of who? Will a Fulani man accept the leadership of a Yoruba man? When
it is now.
During the time of worship, they don't give some of
the Yoruba
people who are
Muslim
from the south, Yoruba Muslims and Yoruba
to lead
Muslims. You can, no matter how vast you are in the Quran, you cannot lead them because they believe they are the leader. So the leadership is not our problem. Let's everybody lead this group. This is what we are saying. Lead your group.
Regional leadership.
Yes, lead your group. I lead my group. Then we meet at the center and synchronize how we are going to govern ourselves.
Okay.
And it is not. It's going to be on equality basis. If you are 1,000 million in population, I am 200.
The concept of Egban Aburo should not come in here.
It shouldn't. We have United Arab Emirates now. You govern your own area the way you like. Somewhere there, you can drink alcohol. You have brothels. They have all this. Some part you don't have it. You do as you like to your people. And when you are leading your people.
Okay, Mr. Bogunloko.
All right.
I'm afraid that's where we have to call it a wrap.
Our time is fast spent.
We shall certainly continue with this next week. Nigeria in retrospect, so many things to still look at.
So many things.
Between the period 1960 to 66,
yes,
which leads to the first military coup,
yeah,
January 15, 1966. So we'll continue with this next week. Mr. Bogunloko, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for your time. This is where we're going to call it a wrap. Okay, so we'll pick up conversation. You see, we are only laying a foundation. We are throwing the issues. We are laying it bare. Yours is to pick, from some of these issues, form a thought with it, and of course, we'll get a country of our choice. I am Anu Luapo Homoride.
My name is Adefemi Makpadiru. We'll see you next week, God willing, where the conversation will continue. Have a pleasant day.
Good morning.
Good morning.